Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Updated Miami Heat depth chart after blockbuster trade ends Jimmy Butler era. Where does Andrew Wiggins and the other new pieces fit in? The Miami Heat have traded Jimmy Butler to the Golden State Warriors, ending a tumultuous saga and adding multiple role players to a roster that has won 4 of their last 6 games. The Heat acquired Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson and PJ Tucker, along with a first-round pick, adding helpful role players to their rotation. Let's take a look at how this trade impacts the Heat's projected depth chart. G. Tyler Herro / Terry Rozier. G. Duncan Robinson / Haywood Highsmith. F. Andrew Wiggins / Jamie Jaquez Jr. / Kyle Anderson. F. Bam Adebayo / Nikola Jovic. C. Kel'el Ware. Additional reserves: Alec Burks, Pelle Larsson, Kevin Love, Tucker. This starting 5 features a too-big front line that will benefit from Wiggins' spacing. Wiggins is shooting 38% on nearly 6 3-point attempts per game this season. There's no questioning Herro, Wiggins, Adebayo, and Ware spots in the starting 5. Wiggins also projects to be written in pen for the closing lineup, alongside Adebayo and Herro, regardless of matchups. As for the bench, Rozier and Jaquez will continue to check in as offensive spark plugs, and Jovic remains as the third big capable of playing alongside either Adebayo or Ware. Tucker's return is a good story, but he's no longer the nightly rotation player he was during Miami's 2022 run. The wild card here is Anderson, who the Heat may have planned to flip in this deal and may not have had a plan for. He's a veteran player who can play either forward spot and provide experience and professionalism when he checks into the game. He's got decent touch in the paint and is a game defender. He'll help unlock smaller lineups. The Heat can now go small, with Adebayo at center, Wiggins and Anderson at forward, and Herro and a 5th player in the backcourt. While this team doesn't have high-wattage star power, it does have real depth. It's that depth the coach Erik Spoelstra will lean on for the second half of the season. Now that Butler is officially out of the picture, Herro and Adebayo must consistently play at an elite level and close when called upon. The Heat received key contributions from Terry Rozier and Nikola Jovic, who combined to score 43 points off the bench. But when it mattered most, the ball was in the hands of both Herro and Adebayo, and both players delivered to give the Heat a much-needed victory. The first big bucket came from Herro, who rose up and hit a nice mid-range jumper over Guerschon Yabusele to extend the Heat lead to 6. Shortly after, with under a minute to go, it seemed as if Miami was about to have another sloppy possession, which would have been fitting given the Heat had 22 turnovers for the game. Instead, Adebayo saved the possession by hitting a jump shot to push the lead back to 6. Lastly, in what ended up being the dagger, Erik Spoelstra drew up a great out-of-bounds play that set up Herro for a layup with a great find from Jovic. Even though Adebayo and Herro filled up the stat sheet, the one category they also had a high count in was turnovers, with both players being responsible for 14 turnovers. But to their credit, both Herro and Adebayo made game-changing plays that ended up preventing Miami from losing another embarrassing game. This needs to be the new norm for the Heat if they want to make the playoffs this season. There is no more relying on Butler to seal the deal and turn the momentum back in Miami's favor. That responsibility now falls on the shoulders of Herro and Adebayo. Wednesday night's victory was a step in the right direction, and it's now time for both players to show they can close consistently against high-level competition with Butler now in Golden State. Heat players discuss emotions after Butler exit. And Wiggins' feedback, more reaction. After learning of the night's big trade on their phones or from teammates, and in Kevin Love's case, from a fan, Heat players conveyed relief and excitement on Wednesday night, after the Jimmy Butler saga ended with Butler being shipped to the Golden State Warriors and Andrew Wiggins, PJ Tucker and Kyle Anderson coming to Miami in a multi-team trade. I think it's going to take a huge weight off everybody's shoulders once we can move forward from everything. Once it's over with, Terry Rozier said after Miami's 108-101 win in Philadelphia, a victory that was overshadowed by Miami's first big trade since acquiring Rozier last January. Who we got, and we can move forward with that, and try to put it together and get ready for the playoffs. I think it's a huge lift for everybody, just clarity. Obviously, we've been the talk of the town for probably the last month. I think it's going to be huge for our locker room just knowing what we got going out there. It's going to be a huge help for us. Love said having clarity absolutely will help, after a 5-week period during which Butler was suspended 3 times and requested a trade. I think there's a relief in the clarity and turning the page and moving forward, said Love, who's close with Butler. I think we got to see a lot of guys be able to step up. And guys that were able to get opportunities or be out there for a significant minutes have grown within those 6 weeks. Hopefully it will be onward and upward for us. Being able to keep our group and this core together, barring anything happening 3 p.m. Thursday, it is a good thing to feel and see. The Heat, Golden State, Utah, and Detroit did not announce the trade but are expected to do so Thursday. The Heat has explored trying to trade Anderson, who was included to help facilitate the trade from a salary cap perspective. Heat coach Erik Spoelstra could not publicly discuss the trade after the game because it hasn't been finalized. Report: Miami Heat make first move toward attempting to acquire Kevin Durant. The Miami Heat have interest in the former NBA MVP Kevin Durant. According to 5 Reasons Sports, the Heat have inquired about Durant. The latest report comes after ESPN's Shams Charania and Brian Windhorst have noted that the Golden State Warriors are out of the equation, and the only possible destination now, if a trade is made for the 15x All-Star, is Miami. Heat forward Jimmy Butler has made his intentions clear that he wants to be in Phoenix, and a swap between the two players, with some other assets, seems like the only viable option left. Then again, both teams could settle for what they have and wait until the offseason to ship each player off. At 36 years old, Durant is still playing some of his strongest basketball. He is averaging 26.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 4.2 assists while shooting 52.4% from the field this season. He is an all-time great scorer and has proven to be a valuable asset to any contending team. The Heat hold the number 7 seed in the East with a 24-24 record. The addition of Durant would instantly put the team led by Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo at the top of the East as title contenders. The Olympic connection between Adebayo and coach Erik Spoelstra also makes Miami an interesting destination for Durant. And you, fan? What do you think of the Kevin Durant situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.